Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode of the show where Chris didn't care enough to put a shirt on. So, in protest, I took my shirt off so that he could see just how bad it looks to wear nothing but a t-shirt, an undershirt.
You know what? I think we look damn comfortable. Comfort is key.
This is not a Hanes commercial. You are not Michael Jordan.
It's not.
You don't have a Hitler stash.
Wait, you even have Hanes? Holy shit, they are Hanes. Hanes are the best. Hanes are super comfortable, you guys. Buy Hanes.
I love how you were off camera for that, so it looked like you were showing giving us tickets to the gun show.
Yeah, buy the no tag Hanes. NOLAnerdcast approved.
This is our review of Snowpiercer.
They
should. We're super hyped.
Give us some money.
No, we don't want your money, Chris.
I don't want all their money.
No,
you give me your
reverse psychology, Chris.
That's terrible psychology. They'd be like, okay, they don't want our money.
Oh, you're right.
Corporations can't be influenced that way.
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer is...
Scoot over. You're off the camera.
Snowpiercer's rad, I thought.
Why don't you talk about Snowpiercer?
Well, maybe I will. It's the future, and as is everything in the future, it's bad.
So it's damned global warming.
We tried to fix global warming with a chemtrail, and it froze the planet.
It went horribly awry.
Froze the planet. The only people left alive are people that are on a train.
Created by Andrew Ryan.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
It's a crazy train that travels the world.
You know what? I want to be very spoiler free on this because it ruins the point of the movie.
We haven't gotten there yet.
No, I know.
It's just a crazy train that travels the world. And you have the first class, the head of the train, and you have the foot of the train.
Then you have the working class.
Yeah.
Then you have the back of the train, which is where the undesirables are.
Yeah, and that's where we get Chris Evans, who is a grimy back of the trainer who fights his way for revolution.
We enter the movie at the start of a revolution. And as we've learned from failed revolutions in the past, if you don't control the engine, you don't control the train.
They thought they could control the water, but that wasn't enough.
No.
This movie is it's one of those more interesting sci-fi ideas. Just because it would be kind of silly to say this train is civilization.
Yeah.
But it's so grim and dark and awful on the train.
So grimdark. I'm surprised DC hasn't optioned it for a comic. Heyo.
Heyo. But seriously, it's like the steerage is like the bleakest steerage I've seen in a long time. They're eating bugs.
They are. No, they're eating protein bars.
Protein bugs. Which I love. I love everyone's reaction when they figure it out. He's like, you can't tell anyone. Like, they're still warm.
But also there seems to be kind of like a Willy Wonka golden ticket moment where sometimes you might be selected to move up to the front or at least the middle to be a working class, but it's all designed to keep the back to the back until the revolution begins, and that's the story this has been told.
Without going into too much detail, I mean, the movie is basically equal parts BioShock, Willy Wonka, a little bit of the Matrix sprinkled in, and it's a very interesting movie, I think, because it doesn't look like any other movie that's come out.
No,
Well, I mean, we walked out of this movie with very different reactions. You know, we had been very, very hyped for it because our friends, by and large, had said it was one of the best films of the summer.
One of the best sci-fi films around, and I mean, this movie's had a big cult following leading up to its release.
I walked out of it thinking it was an excellent movie, but I don't think I liked it more than Rise or Edge of Tomorrow even. I thought it was really well acted. I thought the ideas it put out were very interesting.
I need to point out that this is probably the best acting I've seen from Chris Evans.
In ever?
Yeah. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him as Johnny Storm or Captain America.
Or even not another teen movie, Chris Evans.
But this is the first movie I've seen him in where it's like a real dramatic turn. And without giving anything away, just the scenes in the back half of the movie
at the front of the train.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a note of that because that was the first thing I texted our mutual friend is that Chris Evans blew me away.
Yeah.
He was the monologue he gives at the front of the train is so good that you can almost forgive the fact that he's kind of wasted the first half of his career on nothing roles.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you talking about? Push was a tour de force.
Anyway, but we came out with different things. I thought it was excellent, and you thought it was just okay.
I did.
It's been a couple of days since we've seen it. Has that opinion changed?
It hasn't changed, but I find it increasingly hard to articulate why I didn't like it, because all the elements were there for something I should have enjoyed more than I did. And I don't want to lay the blame on overhype, because I've enjoyed plenty of movies that have been overhyped. Games and movies alike. Like, hype doesn't detract from something for me very often, so I don't want to put the blame on hype. But there's just something about this movie, I don't know, because, I mean, they had action moments.
They had really good action.
There was there's the scene where the door opens and they find their first true opposition, and I'm not going to say anything other than that, but that whole sequence, I mean, in the action sequence, you could tell it was an Eastern-influenced movie, because the action sequences there's a very distinct style break between Western and Eastern action movies in that regard. I mean, that was there. I enjoyed the characters. The acting was strong. I think a lot of it was I was very let down by the ending.
The ending is very controversial.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I know people that are more indie inclined are gonna, raise the ending up as a wonderful example of minimalist storytelling and whatever else they want to say. But I like a little resolution, and maybe a little hope in my endings.
I was not wowed by the ending. I thought it made their entire decision to go to the front of the train completely useless, because it didn't do anything for anyone.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to articulate without getting into too much detail.
And
but I wasn't thrilled with the ending. But up until the actual ending sequence started, I was 100% on board with everything.
Yeah. I mean, even the major reveal I thought was like a really good reveal, where you're like, oh man, like that whole twist.
Yes.
I loved, and as the most I could come up with is I love the parts,
but not the whole.
And I cannot come up with a rational explanation of why, other than it's just a gut reaction to it, is that I walked out going, it was good, but I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I would still recommend people see it, but I'm not walking away with it even in my top 5 of the summer. And based on what people built it up as, I feel like I've missed something somehow. Like, I don't know. And I know movies, stuff like this is very subjective, but again, based on what it is and what's in it and what's usually my wheelhouse, like I really feel like I should have been more engaged in it. I wasn't checking my watch like I was Transformers, but I could. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I think it is. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not as inclusive as Edge of Tomorrow is. Edge of Tomorrow is a really easy concept. You can jump in, and the movie kind of takes care of itself. Snowpiercer raises a lot of more troubling kind of issues.
Yeah, and I like that about it.
No, and it's good that it's that complex, but it's also kind of a barrier, because some people who would be like, yo, Edge of Tomorrow was really interesting and great, and they get to Snowpiercer, it's like, well, that's just too sad for me.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that's you.
I will say that John Hurt is old.
Oh my God,
that man makes Ian McKellen look like a picture of health.
You know what's really sad? I saw the Doctor Who special where he was the War Doctor. He looked way older in this. Like, he aged like 50 years in 6 months.
Because the thing I remember him most in is V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
And it is a far cry from his V for Vendetta self.
Yeah.
He was great in it, though, as Gilliam.
Oh, no, the casting is excellent. We have Tilda Swinton. We have Jamie Bell. We have Octavia Spencer. We have
But there was a
Ed
lot
Harris.
I liked Ed Harris. There was a lot of, I felt like, I don't know. And I can't, again, blame this on anyone, but I thought, like, the characters that weren't Chris Evans kind of got the short shaft on the character development.
That's true. I mean, what did Octavia Spencer have to do? She was just mother.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know like why what she did on the train, what her struggle was on the train. I mean, Chris Evans had the benefit of a monologue that explained everything.
Yeah, and even then, it wasn't until the very end. Like, this movie doesn't really focus too much on the characters so much as the situation they're in.
It's more like we're going to the front of the train.
That last 20 minutes gave more insight into the world we came from and the characters we followed than the entire movie leading up to it.
You know what was a very interesting scene, and I found it very upsetting to watch, was... Upsetting may not be the right word, but very troubling, was the schoolhouse scene.
I thought that was like the perfect example of just how propaganda starts.
It's the most Bioshocky thing where where the teacher, Alison Pill, who was Kim Pine in the Scott Pilgrim movie, explains the origin of the train to children.
The origin of the world who are called train babies.
Yeah.
And have never known the outside world before the deep freeze. And then we get a video of the creator, and it's such a Bioshock Andrew Ryan moment. It's
super Bioshock. And the kids
Bioshock Infinite.
A little
with
bit.
Comstock.
It's like the kids are all like, what happens if we get on the train? We freeze and die.
Yeah, they turn into like a child nursery rhyme. How we did like Ring Around the Rosie was about the Black Plague. Yeah. Like it's weird. It's just all that.
There's the underlying plot about the drug trade on the train, the chronol.
And I love when you get to the debauchery of like the 1920s inspired crazy Bioshock rave. We keep saying Bioshock because if you played the game,
it's extremely Bioshock.
It is a dystopia disguised as utopia for those that are on top.
I mean, it's one of those things like it could be Bioshock on a train. That's like the easy explanation for it. That's how good it is.
On a plane, Bioshock on a train.
Sure.
Would not eat the Sam I Am.
No, I would not.
Would not eat those green eggs in ham.
I don't know, but it's the easiest comparison to make.
It is because that's the vibe I got immediately.
I think of the actresses I like. Tilda Swinton was particularly noteworthy as the representative to the.
She has got the most visually distinctive look for a leading lady.
I did not know that was Tilda Swinton.
You didn't?
No.
Oh my god.
I knew she looked familiar, but I couldn't place it was her until later. I was like, that's perfect.
Okay.
She basically played, and you know what she reminded me of initially was the Hunger Games, the Effie trinket, going to the back and being like, it's such an honor to be on the train.
True.
I guess a little Hunger Games thrown in.
Okay.
But like she was so perfect, and the way they dealt with punishment on the train.
I loved. The punishment was amazing.
The punishment was amazing.
But let's go back to Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, man.
And Nam Goon Min-soo. That's his character's name.
Kang Ho Sung, who did a fairly good job of acting despite not speaking a single word of English.
Yeah. I thought it was nice how they had the translation things that existed. But then they would sometimes not have them.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would be annoying to have to stop every sentence to have the translator
The most egregious moment is Chris Evans' monologue because he's just like, yeah, that totally sucks. But you wouldn't be like having to hear the whole speech in Korean or Chinese or whatever he is. Because it's not clear. I think it's Chinese.
I don't think they mention it.
They don't mention it.
If they did, I think that's on purpose.
The name looks...
And I think a lot of the comedy came from his daughter's character, Yona. Even though it was not clear how she knew the things she knew.
Chronal.
I guess.
Chronal.
Is that our answer to everything?
Chronal.
Is that kryptonite?
Chronal.
Is that our kryptonite?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's honestly not a whole lot I didn't like. I really disliked. I thought it was just a shade too long, and I wasn't thrilled with the ending. But overall, I had a very good time with it.
Visually, it was very striking.
Yes, and considering it all took place on a train of all things,
and considering it was basically just one long hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, especially the things that they just kind of glimpsed about, like how the upper class lived.
Yeah,
and all those how each train section was a different luxury,
mm-hmm.
or
the aquarium train.
Yeah, the atrium train. How they just sat down and had sushi. The whole meta concept of a closed environment type of thing, and how survival is most paramount and order. I don't know, it had a lot of really good messages and brought up a really good amount of questions to mull over. Again, I wish I could pin down why I don't like it more.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's wrap
it up. What do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 9. I thought it was an excellent sci-fi movie. It's one of these nice little underrated gems that comes out every year. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I'm not buying it opening day. I probably wouldn't buy it until it went on sale. I don't really think I need to rewatch it. I think I got it all in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's cheap enough, I'll probably pick it up.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I'll buy it. At least not right away. I don't know. I'm gonna mull it over some more. I enjoyed it.
You didn't love it. You liked it, but you didn't love it.
And I just wish I knew why. I've never been able to not articulate my reasonings more than I am right now. Yeah. I don't know. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Go see it. Snowpiercer. It's good times.
Go see it. Give your own opinion and write in our comments what you think of it.
Like and subscribe. They're over here somewhere.
Yeah. It's this area.
Bro Force.
No.
You gotta do it once.
No.
Come on, I wear our warrior shirt. Yes!
All right.
Oh!
I'm Chris.
Oh, and I'm having an orgasm of joy that Chris just bro-forced me.
Wow. No. Good night.
And I'm Matthew. Okay, and we're the NOLAnerds, and this has been our Snowpiercer movie review. Caw-caw! Caw-caw!